If you're shopping the hill country north of New Braunfels, it might seem like Spring Branch, Bulverde, Canyon Lake, they're all the same. Today, I'm here to tell you that they're not. At the same budget, each one buys you a different lifestyle. Today, I'm breaking down all three side by side at the 600 to 700 to 1.2 million price point. I'm Drake Carter with the Carter team at Keller Williams Heritage. I'm one of your local guides, New Braunfels, Spring Branch, Bulverde, Canyon Lake, and the surrounding hill country corridor. We do a lot of relocation work with buyers coming in from larger metros in and out of state. The question we hear more than almost any other from buyers is, which of these towns actually fits me? So let's answer it with numbers. First up, Spring Branch. It sits along Highway 281, roughly 20 miles north of 1604 and about 20 miles west of New Braunfels. Most parcels are 1 to 5 acres plus, and you're out of the city limits of both Bulverde and Canyon Lake. Como ISD is for school, with Smithton Valley as the most common draw for the high school. At 600,000 and up, Spring Branch typically means a 2,000 or newer build, roughly 2,500 square foot and up, on 1 to 5 acres. Homes are often on a private well and septic, and lots with panoramic views of the hill country typically command higher prices. On property tax, Spring Branch is in Como County, Como ISD, usually no mud, so that keeps the total effective tax rate around 1.3 to 1.8%, depending on the exact location, if you're in the city limits or if there's any emergency services districts added on. Commute reality is the part buyers miss. Downtown San Antonio is 40 to 55 minutes, depending on how stacked up 281 is. San Antonio Airport is about 30 minutes off peak. Austin is a full 90 minutes out. So what does Spring Branch fit? Or who does it fit? Buyers who want highly accredited schools, meaningful acreage, quiet and close enough to 281 for an easy San Antonio run. Next up is Bulverde. It sits just south of Spring Branch, hugging 281 and stretching east into the hills. Still Como County, still Como ISD. Here is where Bulverde is different though. At this price point, Bulverde splits into 2 lanes. Lane 1, we have neighborhoods like Copper Canyon, where lot sizes are on the smaller side, and you're getting anywhere from 1,800 square feet to 3,000 square feet. More neighborhood amenities, closer neighborhoods, and usually public water. Lane 2 is the 2 to 5 acre tracts on the east and west side of 281. Those feel like more Spring Branch. Well and septic, bigger lots, more privacy are more common. Property tax is similar to Spring Branch. Como County, no muds in most Bulverde subdivisions, so you're in that 1.5 to 1.8% range in most cases. There are some subdivisions like Johnson Ranch that do have mud that raise the tax rate well above the 2% mark though, so please do some homework on that or let us do it for you. Commute is where Bulverde shines. Downtown San Antonio is 30 to 45 minutes. The airport is 20 to 30 minutes. It's the most commutable of the 3. So who fits this? Who wants to buy in Bulverde? Buyers who want hill country feel, optional acreage, and the shortest commute into town. You can have 1 acre lot in a nice subdivision or a 4 acre tract, both for the same budget depending on what area of Bulverde you want to buy it. Moving over to Canyon Lake. This one is a bit different. It's a ring of small communities around the lake itself: Startsville, Sattler, Hancock, Fisher, Cranes Mill. At the 600 to 1.2 million here, you're usually looking at 1 of 2 things. First, a lake view, a home on a half to 1 acre with clear vistas of the water from the hillside. Second, a home in a neighborhood within a short drive to one of the public parks or the public boat ramps, so lunch on a boat on Saturday morning is convenient. One other lane worth flagging: not every buyer shopping Canyon Lake area wants a lake product. You have neighborhoods like Mountain Springs Ranch and the subdivisions around it that draw buyers who want the hill country views, the lake views potentially, but also still want the Smithson Valley High School zoning. That inventory trades differently from the lake product. Important note on the lake itself: Canyon Lake is a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers reservoir, which means the Corps controls the shoreline, private docks, and private shoreline access tied to individual homes. These aren't typical features here, so if a listing implies private water access, that claim needs careful verification before you write any sort of offer. Property tax lands in that same 1.6 to 1.8% band for most Canyon Lake addresses. HOA dues are a separate line item here. At the 700 and up, they can typically run anywhere from 2 to 800. The commute to San Antonio is typically around 45 to 60 minutes. Austin is 75 to 90. So for the buyer chasing the lake specifically, the draw is the lake adventures, right? You have boat clubs, you have the marinas, you have the public boat ramps. Those are things that set this aside from Bulverde and Spring Branch. So let's put these 3 together. Let's say a $900,000 purchase. On square footage, Spring Branch and Bulverde tend to give you more house, 35 to 4,200 square feet. Canyon Lake typically trade square footage for views, 24 to 3,200 square feet. On lot, Spring Branch averages biggest lots 2 to 5 acres. Bulverde varies by neighborhood, half acre to 4 acres, and Canyon Lake is almost always smaller, a quarter acre to 3 acres, depending where it is on the lake. Monthly tax bill at $900K, 1.7% effective rate. There's not a real meaningful differentiator between the three on tax-wise. Insurance is another thing that I would say to dive into. Between the three, the main insurance driver is gonna be whether you're in a flood zone or not. Spring Branch, Bulverde, and Canyon Lake all have this ability to be in these flood zones with the Guadalupe River and Canyon Lake near. Next up is internet. All three have fiber in some pockets or fixed wireless in others. A strong contender will be Starlink or satellite internet in some of these locations due to the ruralness. So who fits for which town? Here's my read. Spring Branch fits the buyer who wants real acreage, privacy, minimal HOA friction, and is comfortable with a private well and a septic. The commute to San Antonio is workable, not necessarily easy. Bulverde fits the buyer who wants the hill country feel with the shortest commute and the option to pick between a subdivision and acreage with the same zip code. It's the most flexible of the three. Canyon Lake actually pulls two different buyers at this price point. First, people who want to stay in that Smithson Valley High School zoning, but want to be in the Canyon Lake area for the views and the lake access. Mountain Springs Ranch and the subdivisions around it are the most common draw, so verify the exact zoning and the specific address because boundaries can shift block by block. Second, buyers whose daily life is organized around the lake and want a quieter pace. Weekend boating off the public corpse park, a field different from the 281 corridor, and the option to choose a home in the neighborhood that sits close to one of those public launch points. Housing stock here ranges widely from cabins and hillside views to custom builds across the area's subdivisions. So the search looks different than it does in Spring Branch and Bulverde. None of them is objectively better. They just answer different questions. So if either of these or one of these three fits for you, reach out. If you're weighing these three and want a head-to-head comparison tailored to your specific budget, timeline, and lifestyle, reach out to us to schedule a call. The link to our site and calendar is in the description. Subscribe if you want more of these no-hype comparisons, and I'll see you in the next one.